Right. Again, welcome back to probably lecture 2 of the Foundation Phase Mathematics course. In this lecture, we'll now talk about the number systems, the different numbers that are within the number system. And this hinges on the Hindu-Arabic number system. Now, what are the different numbers that are in the Hindu-Arabic number system? We'll start by what is called the set of whole numbers. I'll try and talk in terms of sets, in the sense that a set is a representation of whatever collection. And in this case, this will be a representation of numbers. So a set of whole numbers, these are numbers that start from, because it's a set, we represent it that way. These are numbers that will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, up to infinity. This is regarded as a set of whole numbers. It falls within the Hindu-Arabic number system. The next set that we talk about is the set of natural numbers. Now, the set of natural numbers, sometimes called the set of counting numbers, it starts from the number 1. So the difference between the set of whole number and natural number is that the set of natural numbers starts from 1, the set of whole numbers starts from 0. So the set of natural numbers would therefore start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on up to infinity, like that. Now, the other set that we'll talk about is the set of integers. The set of integers, this is the set of positive and negative whole numbers. Therefore, it would start from probably negative millions, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and so on. So that represents the set of integers. Then within all these sets, we also have the rational numbers. A set of rational numbers is represented as a set of fractions. In other words, it's represented as P over Q. And this is, P is any natural numbers or whole numbers, but Q have to be natural numbers. In other words, we do not include 0. So P is not equal to 0, but can be any other number. That's the set of rational numbers. Then we also talk about set of real numbers. And within the real numbers, therefore, we include numbers such as the pi, numbers such as E. In other words, within the set of real numbers, we have irrational numbers as well. Right, the next set of numbers we are going to talk about are complex numbers. And complex numbers basically are represented with the letter Z this way, being equal to A plus B I, where A and B are real numbers and I is an imaginary number, or the square root of negative number. Sometimes I squared is regarded as negative 1. Now, that is the set of numbers that you, as a teacher of foundation phase, you ought to know. But you are not going to teach all these numbers. The numbers that you deal with are whole numbers, even numbers, natural numbers. I'm also going to talk about odd numbers. So these are the numbers that your discussions with the grade R teachers will dwell on. For instance, when we're talking about even numbers, then we're talking about numbers that are divisible by 2. So even numbers would be, say, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. These are even numbers. And the set of odd numbers, if we use O, again, this is not a mathematical representation of odd numbers, but if we use O as a representation of that, odd numbers will be numbers like 1, 3 rather, 5, 7, 9. In other words, these are numbers that are not divisible by 2. Those you also ought to know, because you teach your children these different sets. So let us very quickly then look at the different numbers that we've looked at. In the number systems then, you'll talk about the set of whole numbers, you talk about the set of natural numbers, you talk about the set of even numbers and odd numbers, you talk about complex numbers, rational and irrational numbers, and real numbers. But at foundation phase, you just need to know how rational numbers look like, how irrational numbers look like, how complex numbers look like, and how to represent them. But you're not going to teach this. But it's important that we know how the set of whole numbers is, because we'll teach that set of natural numbers is even and odd numbers. Then we also talk about, also try and remember this, that within the sets, we can talk about different sets. For instance, we can talk about a set of multiples of 1, rather multiples of 2. We can talk about a set of multiples of 6. We can talk about a set of factors of 10, factors of 24. So these are different representations of sets. Right. As a summary, therefore, this is what this lecture was about. It was about natural numbers, and these natural numbers are from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to infinity. And then we talked about whole numbers, and these are from 0, 1, 2, again up to infinity. Then we talked about integers, which are from negative numbers, which is negative infinity, up to positive infinity, including 0. Then we also talked about probably the rational and irrational numbers, which are represented in the rational numbers are represented in fraction form. So that wraps up the different types of numbers that are embodied within the Hindu-Arabic number system. Now we are going to move to set theory.